Hello, all you amazing healers and intuitive people, coaches, and everybody who's interested in energy. So today I'm going to talk about how your DNA can make a difference in how you interact with the world and how wealth is attracted to you, including health, love, and money. Stay tuned to hear more. This is Anastasia. I used to be a physics professor specializing in vibrational and quantum physics. After recovering from a serious illness using energy healing on myself, the calling to heal became so strong that I had to quit my 40-year research career. I replaced my 6-figure professor salary within 5 months using a simple but not easy 3-step system that I worked out to grow my healing practice. Now I help other healers grow their practices, whether they're just starting or already have a practice, with this same 3-step system. I'm all about helping you too. Listen in to learn more. Welcome back. So today's topic is all about your DNA and how it makes a difference in whether you are attracting wealth or repelling it. So your DNA is actually passed down through your family lineage, and you get bits and pieces of it. And there's 2 parts to your DNA. The first part is the 5% that programs your physicalness, your height, your eye color, your hair color, your skin color, what type of blood you have, whether it's AB or O, and a whole host of other characteristics. And then there's the 95%. That 95% is your epigenetic programming. So this is programming that is passed down from generation to generation, and it also may be created right now in this lifetime. So the epigenetic programming happens when, depending on, number 1, your behavior in this lifetime, and number 2, what you've been passed down from generation to generation. So for example, if everyone in your family has a tendency to be overweight or even obese, that has been passed down through your genetic code. And you can rewrite that genetic code because your DNA looks like a series of 1s and 0s. So the way your DNA looks is that in your genome, you have 3 billion base pairs. And it takes 3 base pairs to make a single word that programs an amino acid, for example. It takes three of these crossbars or base pairs, right? Because your DNA looks like a twisted ladder. So these what I call pairs are actually the crossbars of your DNA. And at the end, attached to the long part of the ladder, there's a place for something to methylate. In other words, it's a CH3 group, and it attaches to it and it turns on the gene. And when it detaches, it turns off the gene. It's kind of like 1s and 0s. So the inner 5%, right, you have these long chains. The inner 5% of your genome is your physical characteristics, that programming, what they call protein sequencing, and the outer 95%, and that's unique to humans, right? Different animals have different percentages. So in humans, 95% is what they call junk DNA. And junk DNA is something that they can't figure out what it is. And research in the last 10 or 15 years has shown us that, that the junk DNA is actually your genetic programming that can be reprogrammed. So let's talk about epigenetics. Right? Genes express themselves when certain criteria are met. And it occurs because of emotions, thoughts, learned behaviors, and actions. And actually, you inherit these energetic patterns from your parents. And I'll give you an example of this. A friend of mine actually works with food allergies, and he tests for food allergies, and he reprograms the body to not have these allergies. Yes, even really tough allergies like anaphylactic shock when you get a bee sting or you eat peanuts, he can program that away from you. And what he does is he's tested parents and their children and found that the parents and children have similar allergic patterns. So then he reprograms the entire family, so the allergies are no longer expressed in their genome. And in fact, a lot of them that have been reprogrammed do not have an anaphylactic reaction to whatever food it is that caused it in the first place, or a substance like bee venom. And then if these people have more children, the parents then ask him to test the children, the new children, to make sure that they don't carry that genome. And lo and behold, they do not have it, right? So once he reprograms the genes of the parents, it's passed down to the babies. And another example is the feral behavior of cats. It takes about 7 generations to completely remove the wild behavior of feral cats out of their system. I happen to adopt a previously feral cat, and for most of his life he was fearful and he had feral behavior. So if he had been allowed to have baby cats, then these baby cats would have inherited the similar behavior, but it would have been to a lesser degree. And it takes about 7 generations for that behavior to be bred out of cats. So another example of epigenetics is identical twins that have identical genes that were brought up separately. Turns out they have similar behaviors. This is a long-time study, and they have shown some really remarkable things. So you have an idea that behaviors are inherited, right? So despite the stark contrast in the way they were brought up, these behaviors were inherited. So I'm going to talk about the factors that affect your genetic makeup so you can reprogram them. I know how to energetically reprogram them, but you can do the long game and reprogram them. So number 1 is making sure your relationships all work, right? And what do I mean by that? My husband and I were remarking the other day, like he said he used to watch couples come to a boat ramp. He used to own a boat, come to a boat ramp. And what would happen is the husband would put the wife in the boat, in the truck, to back the boat ramp up so they could launch the boat off the boat ramp. And what would inevitably happen most of the time is that the husband would scream things at them, and it would be really mean. And I'm going like, why do they do that? The wife was trying to help, and then instead she got verbally abused. So it's a two-way street, right? So the wife accepted the verbal abuse and the husband delivered it. But that's not healthy behavior. Like my husband and I do not have that in our lives. Because if he did that sort of thing, we would not be married. We would have never even gotten past the first date, basically. So you can accept behavior like this or not, but and it is absolute. The wife accepting the abuse and the husband delivering it, they're dancing this dance that's unhealthy, no matter what, even if they find that to be normal. So I found that kind of behavior to be normal. when I was very young, because there was a lot of yelling and screaming in my family. I just thought it was normal. I hated every minute of it. But that's one of the things that made me very ill. I accepted it. So, allowing yourself to have healthy relationships will change your genetic code, right? It will help you live longer. Your happiness levels, right? Your happiness needs to be driven by, it needs to be true happiness. It needs to be driven by purpose, right? And not desire. Your daily habits. Do you take good care of yourself? Do you sleep well? Do you eat well? Do you exercise every day? Do you meditate? Do you hydrate? Do you do energy hygiene every day to clean off that poopy energy off of you? And then last, the family of origin. If you continue upbeat, positive behaviors, that family of origin programming then changes, and it changes pretty rapidly. So I've talked about your DNA, how it's programmable. 95% is programmable. It's inherited. In animals, it takes up to 7 generations to program every bit, reprogram every bit. It can be done rapidly, energetically, but you can do it by changing your behaviors and demanding great behaviors from people, right? So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for taking valuable time out of your day to listen in. If you found this message helpful, please help spread the word by giving the broadcast a thumbs up or a 5-star rating. Share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel with your notifications on. For further training on healing and growing your healing business using my 3-step system, go to www.highpaidhealers.com. And I'll see you in the next video.